For the past few years, I've been alluding to a product that I've referred to as my secret weapon, my super sauce, or some other superlative. I promised I'd reveal that product someday. Well, today's the day. It's G Fuel. G Fuel started in 2012 as an energy formula for gamers. The G in G Fuel is for gamers. What started as 3 flavors and online ordering has exploded into a range of products, many of them available at convenience stores and even Walmart. I'll throw a link to the G Fuel site in the description. Their largest market is still gamers, but that's not how I heard of G Fuel. When I was still working at Planet Fitness here in Madison, Indiana, one of my coworkers, Leah, mentioned that some gym members were using G Fuel for pre-workout. I was intrigued and I ordered some. The first time I used it was a rocket ride down the mountain bike trails at Versailles State Park. I texted Leah and said I was all jacked up on the stuff. It was almost frighteningly effective. Over the years, that intensity has become more manageable. I think I use the product in greater moderation, plus I think that merely knowing that being amped up is a likely outcome blunts the rush a bit. The initial surprise probably amplified the effect the first time I used G Fuel. But it wasn't the rush I was after. A double espresso would have accomplished much the same thing. G Fuel is reputed to enhance mental functioning, response time, and a host of other characteristics that gamers find valuable. That's what I wanted, to be more responsive whether I was on a mountain bike or my stand-up paddleboard or simply hiking. My reaction times do seem noticeably faster when I use G Fuel. Interestingly, G Fuel does not seem to appreciably increase my heart rate. Intense activity, especially mountain biking, keeps me in the upper part of my heart rate range anyways. G Fuel might add 5 beats per minute to my average heart rate for a ride, maybe. What I do notice is that I'm much more comfortable at higher heart rates. My rated perceived exertion is significantly lower when I'm using G Fuel. I may still be cranking out 165 beats per minute, but it feels like I'm cruising, not flailing. Oh, and I'll put a link in the description to a page on the CDC website with more information on perceived exertion. Equally noticeable is that G Fuel seems to reverse some of the consequences of aging on my reaction times. As we age, reaction times get slower, an average of about 1 millisecond per year after we leave our mid-20s. Error rates associated with reactions also increase. Yep, another link in the description. G Fuel seems to cut both my reaction times and my error rates during recreational activity. How can I tell? When using G Fuel, I find myself getting off my line much less in response to rocks and roots. If the bike does get squirrely, I bring it back much faster. We're talking milliseconds here, and my assessment of my response and recovery rates is purely subjective. But after a few years of use, I can safely say that G Fuel is the key that most readily unlocks flow state for me. I also like the smaller serving size. Here's a scoop for 1 serving of Gatorade powder, the scoop for 1 serving of G Fuel energy formula, the scoop for 1 serving of G Fuel hydrate. The scoop size reflects the amount of calories in each product. G Fuel hydrate has 0 calories per serving, G Fuel energy formula has 15, and Gatorade has 80. Gatorade powder includes 21 grams of added sugar per serving. Neither G Fuel energy formula nor G Fuel hydrate has any sugar. Hydrate has 0 calories per serving. Energy formula has 15 calories per serving and contains maltodextrin. Sugar and maltodextrin both contain about 380 calories per 100 grams. The difference in serving sizes accounts for much of the calorie difference between Gatorade and G Fuel energy formula. One goal in the creation of Gatorade was to provide quick energy by including sugar, and sugar certainly will spike energy levels. And it's that spike that keeps me from using Gatorade extensively, which applies to most sport drinks for that matter. That spike is the result of those products' GI or glycemic index. Gatorade doesn't specify the type of sugar used, but table sugar has a GI of 65. Maltodextrin has a GI of 85 to over 130, which would put it at a disadvantage to sugar if serving sizes were the same, but they're not. One serving of Gatorade has 21 grams of added sugars plus dextrose, which has a GI of 96. Serving size is 23 grams. G Fuel Energy formula does not say how much maltodextrin it contains, but a serving size is only 7 grams, or less than 1/3 the serving size for Gatorade. Even if the glycemic index for the two products is the same, which cannot be easily determined, the glycemic load is much lower for G Fuel Energy formula. Why does this matter? A high GI results in a rapid rise in blood sugar levels that is usually followed by a similarly rapid decline in those levels. You get an energy high followed by a profound crash. The rush is fun while it lasts, but the resulting crash is a bummer when you're nowhere near done with your recreation activity. This is part of the reason I've been light on Gatorade use over the years. Complicating matters is that I can easily lose and seek to replace 3 liters of fluid on a medium to long activity. 3 liters is a bit over 100 ounces. A serving of Gatorade is 23 ounces, so 3 liters is about 8.5 servings. Since each serving has 80 calories, 3 liters has nearly 700 calories, all high GI, and I'm still hungry. I still want to eat something. So I use lower calorie hydration products and get my calories from actual food. G Fuel lacks most of Gatorade's electrolytes. Gatorade has 150 milligrams of sodium and 50 milligrams of potassium per serving. G Fuel Energy formula has 79 milligrams of sodium, but also lots of things that Gatorade lacks, including 10 micrograms of vitamin B12. Yes, there's a link in the description to a paper on B12 and athletic performance. With either product, I'll fill the dietary gaps with such things as fig bars during my event. So is G Fuel the perfect hydration mix powder? Nope. Much of the lift G Fuel provides comes from caffeine, and caffeine is a notoriously unreliable stimulant. I'll be doing a video on caffeine soon, as I've been fiddling with my own caffeine consumption for several months. Their hydration formula has many of the same benefits as regular G Fuel, but without the caffeine. I usually have hydrate with my breakfast. G Fuel can also leave my throat kind of phlegmy. In fact, it often does. I use Gatorade as a chaser, and that seems to work. Gatorade can have the same effect, but I mix mine from powder and use it at about half strength. One benefit of this strategy is that I don't have to use G Fuel as my entire hydration product. That much caffeine would be too much caffeine, for sure. A potential drawback is that this only works if I'm using bike bottles. I can't segregate G Fuel from Gatorade in a hydration pack reservoir. But mixing the two in a 2 or 3 liter reservoir and restricting G Fuel to 1 scoop seems to not produce the phlegm. As with any of my product reviews, I'm sharing my experiences with the product. This is not a longitudinal, double-blind study of thousands of subjects and a random control group. It's one guy trying one product for a few years and reporting his impressions. That said, I think I've done a pretty rigorous examination of my results within that confined context. G Fuel is available from lots of sources. I continue to order mine directly from the company. They often run BOGO, buy one, get one, offers, which results in a far lower net cost than you get from secondary online sources such as Amazon. They package their shipments very well, and with the exception of the occasional sold-out status of popular products, the G Fuel store has everything they make. Oh, the scoop that comes with Energy Formula has a little cone on it that makes it easier to dump the product into half-liter water bottles. Since I use it in containers with larger openings, I usually just snip off that little cone. If you use G Fuel, what's your impression? It seems like everybody has a favorite hydration product. What's yours? I should mention that G Fuel has nothing to do with this review, other than the fact that I order my product from them. I'm another faceless name, along with the many thousands of us on their customer list. So that's it. I really like G Fuel, and I intend to keep using it indefinitely. Thank you, Leah, for making me aware of G Fuel in the first place. I'm Rich Reese, and I'll see you out there. My thanks to those supporting my efforts. You can do so on a monthly basis through Patreon or with a one-time contribution through PayPal. Links are in the description.